Help me reach 2,000 subscribes. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read every comment. Thanks. I never thought a normal Wednesday morning could turn into something that would shake every ounce of trust one had built over 10 years. My name is Ethan, 38, and I've always considered myself a practical man. Married to Claire for almost 7 years, our life was mostly predictable. Coffee in the kitchen, rush goodbyes to work, and evenings spent catching up on shows while she scrolled endlessly on her phone. Routine, I told myself, was the comfort of long-term marriage. But that comfort shattered the moment I heard her voice from the bathroom, soft and tremulous, yet carrying a weight I couldn't ignore. "Ethan, can I see him?" she whispered, barely audible over the running water of the shower. I froze. My hand hovered over the mug I'd been pouring coffee into, and suddenly it felt like my body was in a cold haze. My mind raced. "See who?" I thought. Then the word sank in fully. "Her ex lives next door." For a second, I didn't move. My brain refused to process. I had questions running faster than I could even form them. Why now? Why in the shower? Why would she even think this was remotely acceptable? My chest tightened, and I could hear my own heartbeat in the silence of our small apartment. I called her name softly. "Claire, can you repeat that?" A pause. Then, he lives next door. I just want to see him. Just once. I need closure." Her words were quiet, almost apologetic, but beneath them, I could sense something else. Something like longing, hesitation, and guilt all tangled together. I put down my mug, the warmth of the coffee already gone cold, and tried to steady my voice. "Closure? Claire, you live with me. We're married. Why would you need closure now?" There was silence again. The shower stopped running, and the sound of water dripping from the tiles seemed to echo every thought I couldn't speak aloud. I heard her step closer, the floor creaking under her weight. I knew she'd just gotten out, wrapped in a towel, hair dripping water onto the mat. I don't know," she said finally. "It's stupid. I shouldn't even be thinking about it. But he's here, and I can't stop thinking about the life we had before. I need to say goodbye." I felt a mix of anger, confusion, and something I hate admitting, fear. Fear what this might lead to. Fear the thought that the woman I trusted might already be emotionally elsewhere. My hands clenched into fists at my sides, nails biting into my palms. "Claire," I said, voice low, controlled, "do you understand what you're saying? You want to leave your marriage for a neighbor? For someone from your past? That's insane." "I'm not leaving," she said immediately, almost offensively. I need to see him. Just once. To close the door properly. It's nothing, Ethan. I promise you." Her words, though meant to calm, did the opposite. I could feel my stomach twist, a storm of doubt and hurt swirling in every direction. It wasn't just jealousy. It wasn't just fear. It was betrayal. The kind that whispers instead of yelling. The kind that seeps into your mind until every corner of your trust feels contaminated. I needed space. I needed air. I walked to the balcony, opened the sliding glass door, and let the chill morning wind hit my face. Across the street, through the slight mist clinging to the early hours, I could see the building where her ex supposedly lived. My mind refused to even acknowledge him as a real threat, and yet there was this knot in my chest, a visceral reaction I couldn't ignore. I turned back to the apartment, and she was there, dripping water onto the rug, eyes wide and vulnerable, almost pleading. "Ethan, please don't be angry. I'm not doing anything wrong. I need this," she said, voice shaking. I walked toward her, trying to keep my tone even measured. "Claire, let's stop pretending. You know this isn't about closure. You want to see him because part of you still feels something. Am I wrong?" She flinched at the bluntness of my words, but didn't deny them. The truth hung in the air, heavier than any argument we'd ever had. It was a kind of silence that presses on your ears, your chest, your entire being. My mind raced through every memory of us. The laughs, the small daily routines, the promises we made over candlelight dinners. And now, all of it threatened to crumble under the weight of a whispered sentence. I just can't help it," she murmured finally, her eyes darting to the floor. I need to see him. I need to know I'm really over it. Over it. She said it so casually, as if it were a simple emotion, a check mark on a list, and yet I felt it like a punch to the gut. Every second stretched painfully as I considered what I would do next. I swallowed, forcing my voice to remain steady. Claire, if you do this, if you even step out that door to see him, you need to know everything changes. Our trust, our marriage, me everything. There's no going back. Her silence was answer enough, and at that moment, I realized the storm had already begun. The choices I would make in the next hour, the next few minutes, could determine the future of our marriage, or end it entirely. I didn't move. I didn't speak. I just watched her, and I waited, knowing that whatever came next, there was no turning back. I took a deep breath, tried to steady the whirlwind of emotions roaring inside me. Every instinct screamed at me to stop her, to lock the door, forbid her from leaving, demand an explanation, but I knew that desperation wouldn't solve anything. Calm was my only weapon now. Calm and clarity. Claire, I said slowly, letting each word sink into the tense air. If you go next door, it's not just a visit. You're crossing a line I can't ignore. You're asking me to pretend I'm okay with this. And I can't. I won't. Her eyes widened, tears threatening to spill. Ethan, it's just a moment. It's not like I'm leaving you. Please, I need this. I could see the conflict in her face, the tug of war between guilt and longing, the invisible thread pulling her toward her past. And then, just like that, the truth hit me. She wasn't asking for closure. She was testing me, testing us, testing whether our marriage could survive the ghost of a man who had no place in our life. I walked toward her, carefully, deliberately, keeping my voice firm but controlled. Claire, listen to me. You want to see him? Fine. But it doesn't happen under our roof. And it doesn't involve me pretending to be okay. If you step out that door to see your ex, you do it alone. I'm staying here. I'm not part of this. Her jaw dropped slightly, and I saw the shock on her face. You're not going with me? No, I said, my tone unwavering. I'm not part of this. And when you come back, we'll talk about what it means for us, for our marriage, for everything. She flinched, as if my words cut deeper than any argument could. She turned away, grabbing her robe, shivering not from the shower's chill, but from the tension in the room. I could hear the quiet shuffle of her feet as she moved toward the bedroom to slip on shoes. My mind raced. What if this decision shattered everything? What if the marriage I'd fought so hard to maintain ended tonight? But a small, stubborn voice inside me whispered, sometimes you have to let someone confront their past to see their present. I followed her to the door, but I stopped short, letting her open it and step outside alone. I closed my eyes for a second, tried to calm the racing of my heart. Across the street, I could see the outline of the building where her ex supposedly lived. Every instinct screamed to watch, to follow, to confront, but I didn't. Control meant not acting on impulse, not letting emotion dictate my next move. Minutes stretched like hours. My phone buzzed, messages from friends, emails I ignored. I didn't touch any of it. Every second I waited, my stomach churned, and then I saw it. The shadow of her figure moving toward the neighbor's door. My chest tightened, a mix of dread and anger surging through me. I paced the small living room, replaying every conversation, every laugh, every argument we'd had in the past years. I realized then that love wasn't just about forgiveness or loyalty. It was about boundaries, about respect, about knowing when to let go. And she had crossed a line I couldn't ignore. Minutes later, she returned. I could hear the faint click of the door, the soft rustle of her robe, and the heavy, uneven steps as she walked back toward me. My heart pounded, but I kept my expression neutral, my voice steady. Did you see him? I asked simply. She hesitated, a flicker of guilt in her eyes. Yes, but Ethan, it wasn't what I expected. It was nothing. I thought I needed this, but I realize now I don't. I just wanted to remember what we had before, maybe to understand what I lost. I studied her face carefully, searching for honesty, and I found it, finally, the clarity I've been waiting for. But it wasn't enough to erase the damage. Not yet. Claire, I said, letting the words drop like stones. You asked to see him. You wanted to relive something from your past, while we're supposed to have a present. That changes things. Our trust, our marriage, everything is different now. I need to know, can I trust you again? She swallowed hard, tears threatening to fall. I don't know. I made a mistake. I thought I could handle it, but I see now that it was wrong. I nodded slowly, letting the weight of her words settle in. A mistake is one thing, Claire. Repetition is another. If this ever happens again, if you ever seek him out over me, over us, then there's no repair. I won't be here to pick up the pieces anymore. She lowered her gaze, silent, knowing she'd crossed a line that couldn't be easily forgotten. I took a step back, giving space, giving both of us time to breathe, and then, in the quiet, I realized something I hadn't before. The shock of her request, the tension, the almost betrayal. It forced me to confront something deeper about myself, about my patience, my boundaries, my willingness to tolerate compromise. I loved her, yes, but love without respect, without boundaries, isn't love. It's survival. We didn't speak for the next hour. I made coffee, sat at the counter, and watched her quietly tidy the kitchen. She avoided my gaze, and I avoided hers. Neither of us moved to fill the silence with meaningless words. The quiet was heavy, but it was honest. Finally, she spoke, voice trembling. Ethan, I'm sorry. I don't want to hurt you. I need to fix this. I looked at her, steady, resolute. Fixing this won't be simple. Trust takes time, Claire. And right now, we need to remember why we chose each other, not the ghosts we left behind. She nodded slowly, a small flicker of hope in her eyes. And in that moment, I knew the next steps would define everything. Whether we could survive this, whether love would endure, or whether the whisper of the past had already drawn a line we couldn't cross. The storm had passed for now, but the scars of the morning, the suspense, the shock, would linger for a long time. And I realized with a strange mix of fear and relief that boundaries, courage, and clarity were the true tests of marriage.